pretty balanced, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's super one-sided. It's definitely not one of the more one-sided maps in the pool for sure. It's a little bit more even, and it's normally an interesting enough map, no matter which side the teams begin on. Normally you can expect both of them to be able to actually perform anyway. Let's see for Big, they have that Force Buy, they have a Scout, a few Deagles, an MP9, and a Smoke still available as well. Unfortunately, this B aggression from Big has been a bit successful there. NIP didn't realize that it was in play, I don't think, although it does only allow for the 1-for-1 trade. So much damage has been done to these NIP players. You see Plopsky, Rez, and also Twist all tagged up heavily, making it quite a bit easier for these Deagles and the Scout as well at this point to be able to find the frags. It seems like now NIP, they have a plan in mind. They're going ahead and putting one player around mid, everyone else beginning to group back up over towards B, where already they have been able to get themselves 1 kill.
Good possibility here for Big. You have a player close by, and a Santeris with that Desert Eagle, but Plopsky checking the corners, making sure that no one can hide close by. Timer is running incredibly low, but they will be able to get the bomb down, of course. Now, trying through the smoke here. Res does deal a bit of damage. Taps and goes incredibly low. Keto as well. And all of the remaining Big players just deciding to fall back to hold on to the weapons for the next round. Of course, it's something we see more and more, just holding on to the weapons for the eco round. There's absolutely no reason to throw these weapons away. They work for another round, especially considering that the next one is going to be the eco. So rather than being on just USPs, might as well keep a hold of these Desert Eagles and the Scout.
Yeah, it really just gives them a chance to do exactly what their goal was in this round as well, and that's to try and take a few weapons at least out of the hands of Big, if not win the round. Of NIP rather, if not win the round. So that's going to be the goal again. The Scout's still in play, obviously. 2 Deagles, you don't really expect anything to be bought up elsewhere, unfortunately. You do see a Deagle, actually. He's able to buy... Tizian's able to buy himself one. Surprisingly, also goes for a nade. They get 2,900 at least in the next round, so he'll have 4,950, so it's not really going to limit his buy. If he's just going for that M4, he'll still be able to get the nades behind it. So, I mean, yeah, there's a chance here for sure for Big to try and continue doing some damage, maybe even steal it away if they can find some of those picks early on. And sadly, the picks that we do see being found in the opening seconds of the round are in favor of NIP. Twist already shutting down that peak from Sirison. Nice little nade does go over, but unfortunately not really connecting on anyone. 5-on-4. Full A stack though.
The full A stack here for Big could help them out with this round. Obviously, with a couple of upgraded pistols, Desert Eagles galore, gives them the opportunity to potentially deal some damage, and Santeris does exactly that. It's a good headshot. Taps playing close around the crane, whatever it is. Find one of his own, quickly traded out by Plopsky, and Res dealing damage to Santeris, shutting him down. Good stuff here from Res, finding the final frag for the round as well, and NIP holding on to it. 3 players surviving, that means that their economy is going to have an upwards trajectory. It also means that Big finally have enough money to buy up completely. We see the AWP on Sirson, M4s on the rest of them. And it is about, like... Not gonna say it's now or never, because that's way too early, but... We gotta see Big picking up this round, otherwise I fear that this could run away from them incredibly quickly. Mentioned already that it's a pretty good map for NIP. Definitely have potential for closing this one down 2-0. Already took a fairly one-sided victory on that first map.
Yeah, we didn't get to see it ourselves, unfortunately, but having a look at the score and haven't actually kept the track of the scoreboard while we were covering that previous matchup at points, it did seem like they were able to take it relatively easily, especially when you consider the fact that it was the choice of bigclan. So on Vertigo here, you have to be a little bit worried if you're a fan of the German side. Right now, 3-0 for NIP. This opening gun round, the damage early on has been kind of put back in favor in the CTs though. The T side I was going to say at the moment, but we do see Tizian end up managing to find themselves a kill, and Nade goes over as well to try and follow up from the mid area with some damage. And overall, bigclan are doing a pretty good job, but they don't have a lot of utility left. They're getting very aggressive, and they're doing so on their own at points as well. So it is certainly a risky playstyle. And NIP, they just want to bring this straight in towards B now. The smoke going down could slow them slightly, potentially, especially considering they don't have the bomb currently. That is going to have to be brought back over. So, I mean, it's risky to continue taking these fights at this point. Trying to actually take the bomb site is not going well. Plopsky get one as the smoke fades away, but doesn't expect the off to already be ready in towards the back of the generator. So now it's all on res. 1-on-2, it's certainly winnable, but he's unsure of where that second player is coming from.
And then taps and gonna try and see if they can close this one down. Rest doing his absolute greatest to potentially clutch this one out. He does have a lot of HP to work with and not a ton of HP in the hands of the big players. Rest is playing this very conservative. Both players close by and he finds them both. Understandably throwing his mouse around the mousepad towards the end of it. Very good clutch there from Res. Getting caught off guard by the secondary player, but he still managed to return the damage and eventually shut him down. And that's going to be the 4-0. And as I said, this could hold big problems here. No pun intended for bigclan. NIP does have the potential of starting to work on their economy here. Obviously, just one player surviving in the previous round means that they are going to have to reinvest on most of the players. Pretty much all of them. So their economy is lacking a bit after buying up into this round, but they have a good chance of getting a fairly clean round in this one.
Yeah, for sure. You can see Saracen hasn't invested anything at all. He wants to get that op out here in the next round, and I think that's what Big do need. They need that off presence right now to be able to find them some openings early on, not allow for NIP to just feel so comfortable, because at the moment, really, they're doing a very good job at finding the map control even in the gun rounds, at very least being able to trade out efficiently. Saracen, though, on the USP, trying to see if he can maybe catch someone in towards the alley, and they do! Once they realized it was the USP, they actually both tried to peek in together there, Knock and Twist. They end up, unfortunately, lining up. And the Deagle as well of Keto came in then to help out. A quick double kill being found, and it's two rifles now that have actually been stolen into the hands of Big. This could be the round where they're finally able to get one on the board. And if it is this one that they pick up, that is a good way to try and kickstart the motivation.
Be absolutely massive for them to pick up an eco victory, and that would definitely help with that economy that we were speaking about. Lecro does his absolute greatest to answer back. Does find the frag here on Santeris. Plopsky legitimately living on the edge right now. Does find the frag on Titian though. Trying to open up in towards the B-bomb side. Doing a pretty good job at it. Throwing down the smoke allows them to get a little bit closer. They need to get the bomb down again. Timer is running low. We'll have a couple of players sitting close towards the smoke here. One of them is incredibly low. He needs to be careful about that. Plopsky again. Just walking around on the scaffolding. Taps and takes care of Rest. Plopsky gets one. Quickly traded out. Lecro with the final couple of frags. And somehow, somehow, NIP still managed to hold on to the round. That looked like it was going mostly in the favor of Big. But obviously the weapons, the better weapons in the favor of NIP, helping them out massively towards the end of that one.
Thankfully, that would have been an awkward round to lose up against just the pistols, but they did recover in the end. Another close one, so it's not like NIP have been taking these rounds super convincingly. We've seen a couple of clutches already happen to come in, even Rez, I believe, that got the 1 versus 2 there just earlier on in the gun round, and of course that previous one there being too close for comfort for NIP. So ideally, they do want to start trying to build up a bit of money. There is the possibility here for Big, which is the single round to actually force them down onto an eco, and with that probably actually just the force buy, because they do have 2 players who'd be looking at a double eco. And there it is, Xantares, he does manage to kick us off. Peeking in around mid, finds himself the open and kill. He knows that there's at least one more player trying to work around this area, so it's kind of risky for him to stay so aggressive when at the moment he is on his own. As I said that though, I do see Saracen's begun to rotate over, so has a bit of help. The flash goes in for him to take a slight peek, see if he can find any info about what's happening. And that may have made him think this is actually clear right now. I was going to say Knock may be able to catch him off guard. Fortunately, it's the op instead of Saracen that goes forward. So 5-on-2. NIP, this looks like they are finally going to concede a round. Big should be able to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Very impressive start to the round here for Big. Good opportunity to close it out as well. Res, last man standing. He did have a pretty solid clutch a little bit earlier on, but obviously quite a different scenario now, as he was in a 1-on-5 situation, now in a 1-on-4. Eventually will get taken down here by Santeras. Big finally connecting their first round on the board. That's going to be 5-1. Furthermore, due to Big getting very close to securing a victory in the previous round, that actually means that NIP's economy is pretty much in the gutter right now. Don't really have any money to work with on Plopsky or Twist.
I like how safe they're playing this. We haven't seen this at all today. If this was any of the other teams that we've casted up to this point, I think they would have forced spot. Just because 1900 in the next round still isn't going to really give enough for Plopsky and Twist to buy. If they get a bomb plant, it will be, to be fair. But I mean, just taking the safe approach, even if they don't do anything really in this round, maybe they can just upgrade a few pistols again in the next. They do have already 5 rounds on the D side, so sometimes the safer approach is the better option, just so that you can ensure that your next gun round will be the best. Even if you do maybe give up 1 extra round, it gives you the chance to try and get it going before it can actually get out of hand. Oh, that nade.
That's a nice amount of damage. Have some decent positioning here. Needs to be careful about the deagles, but not gonna leave anything up to chance. Shutting down the fun couple of players, and bigclan picking up their second.
Okay, they're buying.
And yeah, I 100% agree with what you just said. Any other team, I was just about to make that point, any other team would definitely force up in that previous round. And honestly, I would have liked to see a force in the previous round and then an eco in this one. But what I like and what happens
in this as well.
What's that, sorry?
I thought they might have just taken some pistols in this round as well and being like, okay, we'll try to do some damage, keep the economy low, give them 3 maybe, but then once we actually get the full buyout again, be able to just get back into our winning ways. Instead, now it gives a chance. If Big take this round, then NIP will have to eco for sure. At that point, it's 4 for them on the CT side, and yeah, they've just really begun to recover at that point. So, I don't know, but it's still a pretty good buy overall. 3 kills, an AK, and a Mac 10. It's not like it's a buy that they can't make work.
Three Galils and AK-47 does give them potential NIP, even though it's not a great buy by any means. They do have the utility and they do have some firepower. Speaking of utility, that was like 7 different nades thrown in towards the B-bomb site pretty much at the same time. Good frag onto Taps and not killing his teammates. That's big issues. Tishin catching a double here. It's going to be all on rest. Now in a 1-on-3 situation. Needs to quad kill to clutch this one out. He's with a Galil in hand. There is an AK drop somewhere on that B-bomb site. It's not going to matter though, as Santeras peeks out on his left-hand side, connects onto rest, shuts him down. And as you said, bigclan picking up this round means that NIP are definitely going to be going for the eco now.
They have to. That's what I said. I mean, it was just interesting. I feel like I thought that they were going to play it away where they'd be able to get the buyout here in this round and have pretty much everything they would have wanted, including ops and utility. But it was weird for them to take that eco in the round where they had 2 players looking at the double eco and then buying the next one with mostly Galils and such. But I mean, they wanted to keep the pressure on. That was the way that they attempted to do it. And if it worked out, we wouldn't have been criticizing it quite as much. So I mean, it can be important to CS. A lot of the time, you do have to take those risks if you want to be able to get the wins on this level. So let's see. I mean, this one's an eco. You should be Big getting back up to 4, but then once NIP do get the guns back out, maybe they can go back to what they were able to do in those opening few rounds. But I mean, Big certainly looking better. They're warming up a little bit. One kill as well going in their favor. Is not looking too healthy or really like he's alive at all. 2 health, still firing out some shots, and you can see how safe he kind of has to be, expecting to get spammed at that point.
Pretty good opportunity here for Big to get a bit of buffer behind them. They already have a bit of a buffer, actually. Ooh. A nice shot from Nog. Almost catching the second there onto Cerson. Close, but no cigar. But as I said, a pretty good buffer on NIP, or on Big right now, excuse me. See a good amount of money and only one player having to reinvest. That's going to be İÇİN. He's down to barely any money, but the rest of them sitting at... Well, the lowest of them sitting on 5.5. Finally, NIP with enough money to buy up completely for this one. We got 4 SG553s, single AK-47, beautiful wallbang from Santaris.
Yeah, it just makes it that little bit easier for himself then once he does peek in. Finishes it off with one quick shot to the skull of Lekro. And bigclan, they're really stepping it up now after such a poor start here on Vertigo. It's beginning to look a little bit awkward. NIP are so dominant in those opening 5 rounds. This round not over, obviously. It's still quite early with 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Only Lekro down, so they can recover it. They've still got plenty of nades as well to make whatever plays that they want to. But not really sure if there is anyone aggressive from Big at the moment. You can see they have to spend some time actually clearing out this ramp area. Spend a lot of those nades.
Now NIP slowly but surely gonna be inching their way forward here on the A ramp area. Yeah, she said good amount of utility used from Big means that they don't really have a whole lot left when the aggression actually comes through. They do have a couple of flashes still to potentially hold back the aggression. It's gonna be Keto though to catch the first, but not and Rest answering back with a couple combined. Maybe pushing in towards the bomb site for that plant. It's Plopsky throwing down the C4, trying for the frag onto Tapson as well, but not going to be able to do that. Nok finds one, quickly traded out. Rest last man standing. Going to be peeking from the ramp area. Oh, lucky shot from Tapson.
I wouldn't say lucky specifically, but he caught him with the fadeaway there, hoping that the peek could come in just as he was shooting and falling back to top the bomb, and he did time it correctly. And there's always a little bit of luck to that part, but yeah, 5-5. Big. I didn't expect him to be able to recover it this instantly. I thought maybe, okay, they'll start pulling back some rounds, but surely NIP will be able to grind out a couple. But I mean, the economy's been a little bit of an issue for them over the past few rounds. They only got their full buy back in there in the previous. Thankfully, able to get the bomb down. They're able to buy again here. But I think ideally as well, we wouldn't mind seeing that up, being able to actually come in here for Nok, especially now that Sirison is on his one and is actually going to go ahead and take that early peek. Rez goes down over towards the ramp. The nade on towards B as well, going to do some damage on Nok. Big again, looking good early in this round.
It was initially going entirely in the favor of NIP with a 5-0 lead, but now Big answering back and trying to do one better. Trying to make it 6 rounds in a row in their favor. Looking pretty good here for Big. It was looking fairly lackluster for them the first 5 rounds that went in the favor of NIP. Honestly, I didn't quite think Big would be able to bring this one back with this many rounds in a row, honestly. Seems like they just needed a quick moment to warm up to Vertigo. Santaris and İÇİN connecting on Plopsky and Nok, and it's now going to be all on Lekro. 1-on-5 situation. Obviously not a whole lot he can do here, and İÇİN does eventually shut him down. 5 players staying alive for Big. Look at their money. There's so much.
Yeah, it's just kind of ballooned out of control at this point, the economy of Big. NIP are going to struggle to actually put a dent in that coming towards the end of the half, because at this point I feel like Big probably do have enough to continue buying. Even if they were to start losing some rounds at this point, the loss bonus would build up and allow for them still to actually get that in. So it's going to be tough. We're going to need to see NIP going up against mostly gun rounds here if they want to add anything else to that initial 5 that they were able to get themselves. It's really kind of fallen away for them here a little bit. This round, not expecting all that much, but they do have pistols, Kevlar, some nades. And again, with the amount of force buys that we've actually seen being won today and just half buys in general, I'm never willing to actually count them out.
Again, a bit of a minimal buying here for NIP. Good opportunity once more for Big. Necro does manage to get a good kill onto Keto, but Tapson is close by, tapping away here with the SG553. That's going to do the trick. Padding his stats at this point, and he is sitting at top of the scoreboard due to that ace. Sitting at 15 now.
I mean, they did mostly all have Kevlar and then the upgraded pistols as well, so I wouldn't... obviously, it is padding up his stats a little bit, but I'd say that is a pretty difficult thing to do, obviously. It's good to just stop any sort of a threat from those pistols, because I had just been trying to hype them up, and then Tabson is like, what are you doing? No, you're not going to do anything to me. And he absolutely wrecked them. That nade, we seen it earlier, and it wasn't really able to connect anything. This time, Tabson actually does it based off of the spawn, knows the timing, and manages to catch Twist right on the forehead with it. With 63 health, that's, again, pretty decent damage actually being done in favor of Big very early on in the round. Something that they've been really successful with.
NIP setting up for the utility usage in towards the A-bomb site. Smoke wall as per usual. Keto trying to take a stray duel. Does find it eventually. Deals a lot of damage onto Res as well. Flashbang in the opposite direction. Flash doesn't actually connect where it was supposed to. And a lot of damage dealt towards the players of Big. Santeris is incredibly low on HP. Certain from above. Trying to find an angle underneath the smoke here, but he's not going to be able to catch anything at all, as he does get taken down by Twist. Santeris, even though he's incredibly low on HP, still finding one, gets the second as well. Eventually going to get taken down here by Plopsky, but now it's Res being very low on HP. Tishan, brilliant opportunity, and he finds the frag on Plopsky. As I said, Res is so low on HP, probably not much he can do here. Silver lining is he does have the SG, that is one-shot potential. He's trying to change up his position, just trying to find anything. I think he spotted a foot, maybe not. Res still finds the frag on Tishan, shuts him down with that SG553. NIP back on the scoreboard after 7 rounds in a row for Big. Ninjas in Pajamas finally finding another.
It took them a while, but considering they are here on the T side, if they can find one more, I think they'll be feeling pretty good going into the second half. On the other hand, Big, I think they're starting to feel okay now. If they can bring it up to 8 as well, they'll feel pretty confident themselves, especially when you did have such a poor start. I do believe they're looking to try and get aggressive over towards the ramp now on this Big Clan side. We've seen it many, many times, and NIP, they are looking to try and come in and challenge, having thrown a bit of their own utility, seems to have forced Big Clan to shy away from this a little bit more. Again, nade's going to be thrown in this time. Not really connected, because I think Twist also did get tagged down by one in the beginning, so slight health advantage for Big, but NIP, they've been able to get themselves this control over towards the ramp. Main thing being they've given up control elsewhere pretty much. They at least had one player up the ladder spotting that mid push, so they know there's no one flanking quickly that way. But at this point, it seems like Big Clan just have such an easy time predicting what's going on. They've already rotated 4 players over to this A side of the map, allowing for one of them also, of course, to watch mid, but he can come in as soon as the help is needed. Going back now.
Fairly similar health situation between the two teams. Twist is down at roughly 30. Keto gone down to roughly 20. Certain still posted on in the same angle here and does find the frag on Res. That's an important kill. Still more damage being dealt out to the Big players. Lecro dealing with Certain finally. Gonna be throwing the molly in the opposite direction. Looking for the angle. Good reaction from Lecro. That's a well-placed shot. Now for the 3-on-4 for the potential retake. And as I said, so much damage dealt to the NIP players. Definitely still potential of the retake here, which is why they're going for it. Gito finds one, but he's the only one to get anything on this retake. And he's taking a lot of damage in the process. Obviously, just have to try and see if he can fall back. And that's not going to happen either. Plopsky eventually shuts him down, and NIP brings it back to 7. Equal ground. Tied up now. We are going to be heading into the final round for the first half. The big question now is it gonna be NIP taking the half? I was about to say, is it gonna be 8-7? Yeah, of course it is. Will NIP take it, or will bigclan do it?
I don't know. I'm gonna go big. I just feel like the momentum right now is kind of shifted in their favor, at least there on the CT side. You never know once the half swap. I do think it's still going to be a very close game, but I think big can get themselves into the lead here. They've looked really good since they've started making that comeback happen, having only dropped 2 of the last like 8 rounds, I believe. So I don't know. I'm confident in them. They want those 8 rounds. At that point, I think they feel pretty comfortable with the comeback that they were able to actually achieve here to recover that CT side. But this one's quite a bit slower by NIP right now. Again, expecting, I believe, aggression to come in over towards ramp, and we have seen it many, many times from big. This time, though, taking it just a little bit more passive, having the up actually boosted up here in the back of the bomb site, waiting for someone to show themselves on ramp. You then have Keto as well over towards the alleyway, just trying to hold off. As the smokes go down now, are NIP just going to straight up commit off this? I do believe so. Good opportunity if they can deal with Keto. A nice little nade goes over, and actually does barely any damage, apparently.
Again, good positioning here by big. Only 2 defenders close towards the A-bomb site initially. We do have 1 watching for middle, that's Santeris. That also means that Santeris can quickly go for the rotation, which is already done, actually. So some posted up with that AWP. That's an impressive kill. Very important one as well. Let's try and change up his position now, but Twist shuts him down. Not taking care of Keto. Need to be careful about not burning in the fire and the flames. Smoke in the opposite direction allows Big to push up further, trying to bring this one back by pushing up closer. The bomb getting dropped. This could quickly fall apart here for NIP. Santeris, what are you doing?
Oh, what? Did he think there was no time or something? Gets the kill anyway, but that was a weird one. Big, they get the 8th round as I predicted, but if you asked me how that round was going to go, I don't think that's ever how I would have predicted it, at least not those final few seconds. 8-7 for Big, as I said, considering they were down 6-1 or 6-2, I believe it was. That is a pretty good recovery. They're not going to be too upset with the fact that they brought it back to this point. NIP can't really be too upset with the 7 round takedown either, but just, I think they would have wanted more. They had certainly the opportunity to add quite a bit more to that.
Counter-terrorists win.
I'm still wondering what went through Santeris' mind there. For a moment, I thought he was gonna go for the knife kill, and even then...
So did I, because he only had 2 bullets.
Yeah, and even then I was thinking, maybe not the wisest decision, because when he actually went for it, there were still 2 players alive. Could have quickly gotten taken down in that situation. But then it looked like he just thought that the final player died or something. I'm not sure. Either way.
I believe he was initially trying for the knife and then just decided, oh, I'll get a weapon while he's planting. But the time was really low. There was like 3 seconds as he was jumping in, so maybe he thought that the bomb hadn't actually been stuck in time, was thinking maybe he can just go pick up the weapon and perhaps even get the kill after time. I don't know. Maybe Santeris was trying to big brain it. But yeah, I think most likely he initially wanted the knife and got distracted by the shiny M4 on the ground. As always, guys, we do have a few minutes break at the halftime, but it won't be too long before we do get back into it. I'm sure the players cannot wait either, because again, this is another upper bracket quarterfinal where the winner will move on to the European minor, and the loser will go down to the lower bracket where they will have to return tomorrow and play again to see if they're going to be able to claim one of those spots. 8 in total, 4 being claimed today. I believe 2 of them so far only haven't actually been claimed, of course, by Heretics, and then in their previous match we see Fnatic make it true. Yeah, Complexity and Godsent is also still going on, but worth noting, since of course people are watching this one, they might not know how the score is right now over in the Complexity versus Godsent game. It is currently 12-9 in favor of Complexity, and they did also take the first map 16-11. So they are looking like they could take that one 2-0 to move on. And again, that is a good story for Complexity. The fact that they weren't able to make it through those open qualifiers and then do end up getting themselves another chance after Mad Lions remove Hunden and they're not able to play. And if they're able to come through the close qualifier, make it to the minor, maybe even make it to the major, it's an interesting story that I wouldn't have expected. The fact that they couldn't even qualify for the open qualifiers initially.
I promise you one thing, if Complexity, and this is on record, if Complexity makes it through to the minor, I'll take the entire team out for dinner.
Really? They're like 2 rounds away from it right now.
No, not the minor, I said the major.
Oh, the major.
Yeah. Wow, I almost just paid for dinner for the entire team.
Yeah, it was...
No, I meant the major.
I don't know if they'll claim on your thing anyway. I think you should be okay. Even if they do make it to the major. I don't think they're going to force you to buy them dinner.
I'll do it whether they force me to it or not. Happily. Either way.
What are you thinking? Do you think we can see a 3-map? See a 3-map series here?
Yeah, there's definitely potential for it. I mean, Big. We've seen them already on the CT side. The big question is now if they'll be able to maintain that on the T side. I feel like we need to see the individuals from Big step up a little bit here for the second half, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll have as easy of a task on the second half as they had on the CT side. It wasn't necessarily easy for them either, honestly. They played pretty well on first half. But yeah, there's always potential, obviously. I'm not sure. This could go either way.
I believe it's possible. I'm not going to call it. I'm going to say it's going to be 16-14. I think it's going to stay really close all the way up to the end, and I think NIP will take it for the 2-0. One thing worth noting right now is at the halftime switch, for some reason, the Stars messed itself up at the top. It wasn't Big that took the first map. It was actually NIP. So do keep that in mind. I believe it should fix once we actually go live with the second half, which is taking just a little while longer than expected.
Do have information that the player should be good to go in just a moment, so we should get this one back on track. NIP now going to be on the CT side, Big on the T side, and the big question is, can they actually bring this one back? Big Clan, will they be able to push this one to a map 3? I just had to check. It is Mirage for the third map if that happens. That's interesting. Mirage as a... Well, not so much that it's Mirage. That happens, like, so often.
If Big managed to get it to Mirage, I
yeah,
wouldn't be too afraid saying that they can certainly take it there and that they would have even just a good chance of actually claiming the series 2-1. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with my prediction of NIP taking this one here. I think it's going to remain close, probably like a 16-14 to NIP to take the 2-0. But if not, I mean, map number 3 certainly could be exciting, so I wouldn't complain about it. But we're finally ready to go. As you said, G, somehow you got secret info. You were able to leak the fact that they were about to ready up. And we got it. NIP, though, Rez and Twist are the ones that buy up some utility. We see the defuse kit being pulled out as well. And then over on the T side, it's Tabson and Tizian that pull out the nades with a smoke and a molly each. And it looks like showing a lot of presence over towards that A-ramp initially, but immediately deciding to go ahead and cancel whatever that plan was. I'm not sure if maybe they were just trying to sell a bit of a fake by actually going there early on. Because they're all going back towards B now, where those smokes and molotovs could be very useful.
Big Clan setting up for the aggression in towards that B bomb site. You pointed out, good amount of utility here for Big. Allows them to set up for a full execute in towards the B bomb site. Plotski, he's going to try and nail the hits. Doesn't quite work out first time around. Lecro, that's a good kill. Rex and Twist chiming in with a couple of their own res and nog with the final for the round. And NIP picking up the pistol for the second half, much like they did for the first. Very strong fashion here for the pistol.
Yeah, that was a quick one overall. I mean, we had the initial contact towards the ramp. They walked back towards B, and then once the first frag actually came in, it was very quick from that point onwards. Big, they are going to force in themselves, but obviously not being able to get that bomb plant. Unfortunately, that doesn't give them the ability to buy the rifles like a lot of the time you do now actually see on this second round for the T side. Instead, mostly Deagles, 1P250, a few nades. Seriously, he doesn't want to spend too much because he's saving for the op. But most likely, we should be looking at NIP getting themselves up 9-8. And off the back of that, of course, with Big having to take an eco then in the next round, if they do lose this, we could have NIP looking at a 10-8 lead, reclaiming what had begun to slip away from them there on that previous half.
bigclan limited, obviously, to the Desert Eagles and the P250. CSGO holding on to some extra money for the AWP, but other than that, it's actually a force buy here for bigclan. Kido getting kind of stuck on the ladder. That's a bit unfortunate, considering that CSGO was trying to be as silent as possible. And Kido kind of ruined that a little bit. They could have been hurt from the elbow over towards the A-bomb site. I think that's one of the reasons why we see Lekro paying pretty good attention towards the mid position. Peeks out, going for the aggression, finds the frag on CSGO, quickly taken down though. Taps and he burns one completely without even spotting the player and takes down Plopsky. Nog finally answering back with one onto Keto, brings it back to a 2-on-2 situation. Make that a 2-on-1 as Tapson falls as well, but the bomb will get planted. There's definitely still potential here for Santeris. Remember back in the day when he used to be called Vacteris? That's not gonna ring true to the chat today. At least not for now.
Getting shot in the back terrace. That might actually be the worst joke I've ever made on a stream. But I don't
that was fire.
Really?
When is the mixtape dropping? I need to know.
Never. I'll never give it to you. I would not put people through the torture of listening to music that I would make because I just know it wouldn't be good. And I don't hate people that much. NIP though, good recovery in the end of that round. Been able to actually pull themselves back into the lead now with a 9-8, but a close round. I mean, they took quite a bit of damage only living with 2. And Big realizing that, not spending all of their money, but since they got the bomb plant, they can invest a decent amount to just keep that pressure on.
Quite interesting to see NIP buying so much into this round, but that's obviously due to getting that bomb down. It could have actually gone for a fairly decent force buy if they chose to, but deciding against it is not a bad decision, of course. Pretty solid decision, if you ask me. What a peek from Tapson. Good read on that. Plopsky deciding to go for a bit of an aggressive move there. Twist and Lekro will answer back. The SMG is achievable. We'll be able to pick it up. Retrievable. 3-on-4 situation. Big now got to be starting to move closer in towards the B bomb site once again. Tried it a couple of times already. Going for a bit of a peek out towards middle through the murder hole. Not the bomb peeking. The bomb was underneath. That was certain. Oh, the jump boost in towards the side. That's interesting. It's not something we see all that often. We see it every once in a while on Dust 2 on short, but other than that, it's fairly rare to see a jump boost through a smoke. Now, obviously,
yeah, with the bomb on your back as well.
Yeah,
was the goal there to try and give NIP the bomb as quickly as they possibly could?
Maybe.
Because that was an interesting one. I like the idea. Maybe just don't have the bomb on the first person, so once it gets dropped, it's dropped around the generators in a spot where you're gonna have a tough time kind of retrieving it. In the end, it didn't matter obviously because they did it all just end up getting mowed down by the B defense. But 10-8 right now. NIP, they have themselves back into the lead, of course, but now they're up against that first good round from Big here on the T side. And already we have seen Sirison go ahead and just pick up that opening kill. Nock trying to get that pick in towards ramp. Finds the opposing team's upper and goes down early on. Twist down mid. He may be given some opportunities here. It's surprising that Xantares is going so aggressive when Tizian, he's sticking back. I believe he was watching the window for any aggression, still expecting it to come in, but at least has returned one on mid. And in the meantime, Big, they've gone ahead and brought it into a 3v2. At this point, I want to see Tabson maybe just be a bit more cautious. He has no one here on A with him. If he does go down to the off, it could cost him the round, but he ends up getting the kill, so I think it is okay. And actually, Sirison in the meantime had been wrapping around the alley, so it is all on Plopsky now. Trying to come through the smoke, gets wrecked. Okay.
Get wrecked indeed. Big managing to pick up their 9th. First gun round going in their favor, and now the economy is lacking a bit here for NIP. Do have a couple of players with decent amount of money in the bank, but barely buying anything. I would love to see like a couple of upgraded pistols on Twist, Nock. Deciding against that, deciding to hold on to as much money as possible. That could potentially indicate a double op setup for the next round. Something we see every once in a while on this map as well. One of the ops over towards the A-bomb side, one towards middle. Oh, Santaris, nice spray down. Tapson as well. Headshots all around here. Titian with the final frag for the round. Very clean round here for Big. They do lose one player. Not a massive deal for them, of course. Still gonna help their money. 4 players surviving. We don't see that double op setup.
No, I mean, just saving the money that they could, I guess, to ensure that the buy is going to be as strong as possible. We see a weapon dropped over to Lekro, I believe. It leaves Twist with absolutely no utility, but Lekro was a little bit low on money, perhaps. You can see even after fully buying, he only has 1250 left, even with the rifle being given over. I think he may have had to actually give the op to Nock and maybe got a weapon in return. So just in general, they had to kind of share the economy around here to be able to get the full buyout. It's not perfect, but it is decent. They have the one defuse kit, at least. They have the op on Nock for him to try and challenge and see what openings he can find. But that's exactly what Big Clan want to do as well. Rez playing a little bit more passive around the alley there on A. Unfortunately gets peeked by Keto. And with the Krieg in hands, he's able to find a quick headshot despite getting dinked down. So he ends up surviving. And again, Big kicking off one of these T rounds with an early advantage.
Only a slight advantage though. Keto did take a lot of damage in the process. But obviously having a player advantage, even though he might be low on HP, still gives you more firepower to work with. Nock making sure he doesn't get caught in that elbow portion of the A-bomb site. Falling back to relative safety. He is the sole defender over towards the A-bomb site at this point. Rotation is starting to come through here, and we see Twist already rotating a bit closer towards the bomb site, but the smoke is keeping him at bay just a bit longer. Samson throwing down the bomb and then quickly falling back, and NIP does the same. Falling back to relative safety to try and see if they can hold on to their weapons. They realize if they don't get a kill very early on this retake attempt, they're just gonna fall back because there's no reason to throw their weapons away. They are gonna be limited in the next round in terms of money. Hold on to as many weapons as possible is definitely the right decision here from NIP. Big picking up their 11th now. NIP will be able, Lekro will be able to drop one over to Rez. So they will have a full buy for this next round. Big Clan now on 11. 1 round lead. Pretty good start on the T side here for Big Clan as well. That's 3 rounds in a row now. After 3 going in the favor of NIP.
Yeah, I think at this point, NIP definitely getting a bit worried about the fact that this game has really begun to slip away from them. Not only did they have a good start in the first half, they were able to get off to a pretty good starter in this one as well. And then once the guns do come out, it's been all big clans since then. 11-10, as you said, regaining themselves the lead here after only actually gaining it towards the end of that first half as well, after working from behind for so long to do so. So here we go. A overall much better buy from NIP. It's only really that from Mass on Plopsky. Haven't actually saved some weapons. It gives them a really strong investment, obviously. They still have a chance to try and fight for it, but if this one doesn't work out going into the next round, they only get 2,900, then they definitely are looking at an eco. And we would see Big very likely going up 13-10. I don't think that's something that NIP can afford, so this is a very important round.
Again, Big setting up for what seems to be fast execute over towards the A bomb site. The bomb is sneaking close by as well. That's certain. He needs to be careful here. If he drops the bomb, this could go wrong immediately, but beautiful shots. Oh, he gets back to relative safety in time as well. So important from Cerson. As said, he was wielding the bomb. Had he gone down there, that could have been the round quickly in the favor of NIP. Very impressive from Cerson. Double molly to cover off the angle as they move in towards the B bomb side. We do have one defender. That's going to be Plopsky. Quickly dealt with by Santeris, who gets the trade. Cerson on the long rotation back towards the A bomb, or the B bomb side, excuse me. We'll be able to get in for that plant. 2-on-2. It's Electro and Twist to try and bring this one back in the favor of NIP, and that's a good start to a Twist. Dealing with Santeris and Electro, finding the final frag for the round. Twist dies.
He fell off the edge. Thank God.
But
Electro got that kill.
Right?
Yeah, but I think he got caught on the edge and then tried to like jump up and ended up falling off or something. I'm really not 100% sure because I don't think he would have thrown himself off there because he was already fallen before the kill was gotten by Electro. Yeah, I don't know how he messed up, but I seen it in the background. I seen his X-ray just start shooting down the bottom of the building. And I was like, oh no. I was very worried for Electro, but he came through. Clutch for the Ninjas right now. Lets them get 11. Equalizes the score again, but they are still in hot water at this point. Or deep water, sorry. It's going to have to be this round, otherwise, again, they are just going to be straight back onto the eco. Fortunately, Big, they have spent pretty much all of the money that they were able to build up into this round, so there's a good opportunity for NIP to actually break the money for Big.
Pretty much a swing round here. You have a bit of extra money in the hands of Titian, but other than that, it's one of those rounds that could determine who will win the next couple of rounds. NIP, they really need this one, but it is going to be Big finding the first frag. It's taps and next on to Res. Bit of damage dealt towards Electro as well. NIP trying to go for a bit of a forward stance. Quickly gonna realize that there are no players... Well, there's one player, but... basically no players close by. Should go for a fairly quick rotation is what I'm trying to say. Plopsky, be careful, buddy. Just saw your teammate dying in roughly the same position last round.
I'm feeling a map 3 right now. I don't know if NIP have it in them to close it out here on the CT side of Vertigo. It hasn't been looking too great from them. This round not starting off strong. If they lose this, their economy is pretty much ruined. So it's not something that they can afford to happen. Unfortunately, Lekro gets one knocked and destroys a couple with the assistance of Plopsky, who I thought initially had gotten the double frag for himself. But Nock just that bit quicker on the trigger, and with Tizian being the last man standing, he had absolutely zero time to try and do anything about the 1v4 that he was left in. All he could do was save his weapon, and That's probably going to be the only rifle that they have in this round. I don't know what they could buy, because Tizian could drop one. Sirison could maybe take an op off Tizian, and then he could give a rifle over to someone, and they could get a bit of a force by Keto, could maybe pull out something decent, an AK body armor or a Galil armor and some utility. It is an option, and I think that's something that they're considering right now with this pause haven't actually come in.
Yeah, it is a tactical timeout called by Big, so it makes pretty good sense for them to just talk things through. Should we actually go for this force buy, or should we try and go for a single min-buy eco type situation and hold on to the hope of bringing it back from 13-11? I think that seems to be the case.
Some investment, but they're not spending much. They have that one AK and then a few pistols behind it, at least to support and give them a slightly better chance to do some damage. It's only Sirison that doesn't upgrade anything, so he can get the op in the next round. So, yeah, this is the safer approach for sure, because the issue is if they were to force buy and then lose that, they're in a lot of trouble.
With that AK-47, gonna have to put it to good use, and that's a nice start. The kill on towards Res. Takes a bit of damage in the process, but again, Res was the one wielding the FAMAS. FAMAS, ever since the slight buff that was dealt to the FAMAS and the Galil, is actually a pretty decent weapon now. Santeris, though. Nice headshot on the Desert Eagle. Return from Electro, connects onto Titian, brings it back at least somewhat, but still pretty good opportunity here for Big. Good damage dealt from Electro through the plywood. Still trying for a bit of a forward stance here. With the flashbang out, he might be going for a bit of an extended peek, and that's exactly the case. Finds it. Almost gets the second. Santeris goes down to just 13. 2 on 3. Definitely still pretty good potential here for Big to pick up the round. Twist, you need to be careful. He is sitting behind the smoke, so he is somewhat safe. Needs to be careful. There's a player already on the bomb side. 2 more sneaking closer. Oh, beautiful stuff from Twist. And now Sirison with that AWP that he managed to pick up. He's going to fall back as the timer runs low. Try and hold on to his weapon. Will be able to do that as well. NIP barely holding on to the round.
Yeah, good recovery in the end. It wasn't looking amazing for them at one point. Twist able to get the double kill, and most importantly also then keep the final player away from even trying to recover it by just damaging him so low and not really giving him a chance to go forward for what was a 1v2 and otherwise may have been doable. Also the time obviously working against them, but 13-11. NIP, they've gone ahead and done it. They've got themselves back in control now by actually chaining together a couple of rounds. Big are back on the buy. This is the one that could be it. If NIP are able to take this one, we're likely going to see them taking Map and also Serious Point with that, and being on the brink of qualifying to the European Minor. Big, they want to have something to say about that, obviously. They still want Map 3 to happen. They want to make it through today, and they don't want to have to fight through that lower bracket tomorrow. Oh, boost coming in. I've seen this once or twice only, I believe. Being very patient, and there is a player in on the right. I think he may be aware of that. It's a very common spot, obviously. Elsewhere, there is some damage being done, and eventually Sirison realizes that there's not really much coming from that boost, unfortunately.
She said definitely a nice boost, something we don't see all that often. I've only seen it a couple of times over the last couple of days, actually. I think I've seen it once or twice, just. But it's such a nice angle, allows you to peek over towards the self-boost on the A bomb site. Now Big again Setting up for the execute in towards this A-bomb side. It's Nog just patiently waiting with his AWP, connecting onto Santeris. Shuts him down. A lot of damage dealt towards Surson. Look at it, his HP. That was all from the fire and the flames. Res and Twist do manage to find one each. Tapson and Keita with one of their own. Now for the 2-on-3 for the potential retake. The bomb is not really planted in a good spot here for Big, especially with that incendiary. Plopsky tapping the bomb once and then tapping away at Tishin. Lecker from above. He rains down on the final player. It's going to be yet another round on the board here for NIP. Now we're getting into dangerous territory for Big. It could have been worse, as you mentioned already. They do have the potential in the lower bracket tomorrow, even if they lose this one 2-0, but 14-11. 2 more rounds in the favor of NIP, and they'll take a 2-0 victory over Big and qualify for the minor.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked so good. They just had a poor start on both of the halves. They took a while to really get going, and overall, they'd been looking so strong. Unfortunately, here in the last few rounds, NIP have gone ahead and taken themselves back control of the game. They've been keeping them pretty close, so it's not like NIP have built up any money, so this round still could be a round that would break the economy of NIP if they were to lose it. At that point, then, we would see Big starting to build up a few rounds of their own yet again. But NIP, they want to stay with this kind of aggressive pace that they've been using for the last couple rounds, just straight over towards B. The smokes down make it so difficult for Big to really find themselves any spots that they can stand to even see what's going on. A double kill from Plopsky and a 5-on-3 now for Big to try and recover from to deny Map and serious point for NIP.
Quick reminder for those of you who just tuned in to this game when we took over. They already played one map. So NIP are currently leading 1-0 in terms of maps. Which is why I mentioned the potential of a 2-0 if they secure a victory here on Vertigo. It is their own map choice. They're just 2 rounds away from doing so. Could potentially be 1 round away after this one. Well, let's see how it goes. As Res does take care of Surson. All on Keto and Santeris now to try and see if they can hold on to the round, hold on to any potential. The nade and the molly almost deals with Santeris. Incredibly low on HP, down to just 16. Keto does answer back, but he only catches one. He's 1 and done. And this could be the final straw to break the camel's back for a bit. This might be it.
It might be. I think Big realizing that as well. They do have enough to buy again, thankfully, with their loss bonus obviously still going and the bomb plant. So they're going to have a pause. See what exactly they can do now, because 4 rounds in a row is not the biggest of tasks. It just might seem like a lot, especially when you're after losing a few rounds already in a row to the opposing team. But if they can pick up this first one, as I said before, the economy of NIP, it's not like it's gotten into a great position. There's only, I mean, there's one player who wouldn't have enough to buy. Plopsky, Lekro, Rez, and Twist all would be able to get one out, but it wouldn't be perfect. And then if NIP were to lose that one, then suddenly Big have a relatively easy time actually getting it into the overtime. So I'm not going to count them out yet. And you can see the buy. They've gone ahead and sacrificed down on 1 player so far so that they can get those extra nades in play. Sirison yet the buy. We'll just go for the AK in the end.
It's now or never for Big. They don't have room for any more mistakes here on Vertigo. They need to get 4 rounds in a row to bring this one into OT. And at that point, still have to put in a lot of work. It's Twist who finds the first, quickly traded out by Santeris, but Lekra in a good position, shuts him down. 4-on-3. NIP looking to close it down right here, right now. They want that delicious spot for the minor. Makes pretty good sense. I wouldn't be mad about going to Rio. I don't think the players would be mad about that either. Plopsky posted up in towards T-spawn. Taps are not hitting a single shot. And that's the bomb and T-spawn now in the hands of NIP. 2-on-4 situation. What are Big supposed to do here, Dean?
I really don't know at this point. Looking to try and go back and retrieve that bomb, obviously sticking together at least. I mean, gives them the chance to try and trade, but they can't even afford to lose one player. They need to get this kill on Plopsky. They need to do it quickly as well. Smoke, but the amount of damage that's been taken from Sirison there, the aggression down the ladder, one more player still around this area that can try and actually put a stop to them as they move towards B. He's going to be just a little bit later, but he's in a great spot to get that quick flank. You see the rest of the rotations coming in from NIP, so still it's going to be very difficult despite this bomb getting planted for them to try and close this out on the after plant. Although, as I said, that plot steps is going to be checked for by Sirison. So he finds a quick headshot, clawing it back to the 2 versus 2. Rez checks up close on the right side, though. Keto was hoping to be able to catch them off guard and maybe find both kills for himself. Instead, now he goes down. Sirison